Welcome to Not Starving Artist, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Before we dive into the episode, I am so excited to share with you that my brand new online course, Cashed Up Creatives, is officially out now. Now, this course is for my artists with neurospicy brains, my bi-weekly paycheck cuties who just don't want a budget, or anyone who wants to get out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle and finally experience financial wellness. This course is for you. It's gonna help you get 3 months ahead on bills. It's gonna help you pay off debt while you still take vacations. It's gonna help you manage your fluctuating or consistent income with ease. You're gonna be able to confidently talk to your parents or partner about your money decisions. You're gonna be able to open a retirement account and invest your first or next $500. You're always gonna have surplus in your bank account, and it's gonna teach you how to ditch your scarcity mindset so you can feel abundant with money. Now, this is a self-study course, meaning that when you make your one-time payment of $247, you have immediate access to the course content for life. And on top of lifetime access, the best part about what I'm sharing with you today is that for the rest of 2025, I am going to be hosting live monthly office hours for anyone who has joined the course. Totally for free, included with the price that you pay for the course itself. I, of course, recommend joining as soon as possible because the earlier you join, the more of those monthly office hours calls that you are going to get to attend. I cannot wait to see you inside and to help you get cashed up. Hello, everyone. We are now officially in the second half of my 10-week series, Unlock Abundance, the 10 money affirmations that are going to make you richer in 2025. And if you haven't been here for the first 5 weeks, that is okay. The first 5 weeks are not a prerequisite to enjoy the next 5 weeks. But I also encourage you to find the ones that activate you the most. I want you to download these episodes. So 6 months from now, I want you to come back and listen to the episode again and see what comes up for you that's totally new. Mindset work is like a complicated math problem. So when you think about math, we can easily do 2 plus 2 in our head, but if you try and do 371 times 7 divided by 12 plus 7, right? You can't do that in your brain. You need to get out a piece of paper and work out the problem. That doesn't mean the problem is unsolvable. You just need to get it down on paper. So same with mindset work. Taking intentional time to get out your journal and work through a mindset problem, something that's coming up, that's how you solve it. So enjoy this second half of the series, Unlock Abundance, the 10 money affirmations that are going to make you richer in 2025. Welcome to day 6 of Money Affirmations That Actually Work, aka how to make more money actually in your bank accounts, in your paychecks, in your investment accounts in 2025. So as we start off this morning, like we have been doing for every day so far in the series, we are going to choose an affirmation out of the 10 I have listed, right? So I've predetermined which 10 we're going to do for this series, but then every day, someone on this live gets to choose which number that we do. So before we even dive in, let me just say I'm continuing to send love to every single person in LA. My sister is out there, so I'm diligently watching the Watch Duty app just to make sure she is okay. My heart is just breaking for, I have clients who are out there and just everyone who is living not just right where the fires are, but having to experience that. It just fucking sucks to have to watch. Anyway, I've been having to grieve a lot. I'm sure you all have had to grieve a lot just in how a lot of this could have been preventable and how people are navigating it from the top down. So just my heart is breaking for all of you and all of us and sending a lot of love. The one thing that I always cling to, and I wrote this in my newsletter that's being sent out on Monday, the quote that I love from Morgan Harper Nichols that I always think about in times like this. She wrote, "Keep looking to where the light pours in." And so when it feels hopeless and when it feels like things are really, really sad and really dark, keep looking to where the light pours in. And so seeing how many people are like running to help, jumping to be helpers at this time, opening up their homes, like providing resources, like the crowd sharing that's happening on Instagram that I'm seeing of the kinds of resources that are out there. It's just, that's the kind of shit that makes me continue to have hope, right? And continue to keep moving forward. So I just want to give you that quote to cling to, like I have been clinging to, keep looking to where the light pours in. That's what I continue to think through. So starting there, as we dive into our day 6 of the Money Affirmation series. So I want to go through the affirmations that we've gone deep into so far in the series. Day 1 was, I release all resistance to attracting money. Day 2 was, making money is easy and enjoyable. Day 3 was, every dollar I spend circulates and returns to be multiplied. Day 4 is, I am in control of my financial destiny. And day 5 was, I am worthy of a prosperous life. Ooh, 11:11, right as I looked up. So those are the affirmations that we've done so far. Now remember, this series is less about the affirmation itself and more about how we deepen it, how we dissect it, and the tools that I'm giving you to make these affirmations click in for you, feel like something for you. So to refresh, some of the exercises and tools that we've talked through this week so far is the what if principle, which is adding what if to the beginning of the affirmation to turn it into a question, to give you curiosity about the affirmation, right? So instead of making money is easy and inevitable, ask yourself, what if making money was easy and inevitable? What would that look like? Who is the person who is that true for? Who that is true for? Okay, so that's the what if principle. The other thing is to then take action to actually make the affirmation real. So for example, let's do, I am in control of my financial destiny. Okay. So if you were going to take that affirmation and make it true, go take practical action that shows you that you are in control of your financial destiny. Go look at your bank accounts, go learn about investing, go send the application in for a higher paying job, go start a business to make you money outside of your acting career, go open a high yield savings account so that you can see your savings making you money while you're doing nothing, more than when it was sitting in your fuddy-duddy Bank of America savings account, right? Go actually take control of your financial destiny so that that becomes true. The other thing you can do, the other tool we talked about, is going back into the archives, right? Pulling evidence from your past that proves that these affirmations are true. So let's take every dollar I spend circulates and returns to be multiplied. Go into the archives of your brain and pull every instance, even if it's super, super tiny, where that was true and that was accurate for you, right? Playing debate team on both sides of the table. So an affirmation, when you say it outright, your brain is going to say that is true or that is false. That's what our brain likes to do. It likes to categorize. So how are you going to play debate team for the side that you want, which is usually, I would like this affirmation to be true, right? So going into the archives and pulling evidence. The other tool we talked about was changing the wording. So instead of, I am worthy of a prosperous life, turning it into a question with the what if principle of like, if I was worthy of a prosperous life, what would that look like? Who is someone who is worthy of a prosperous life? But then you could also say something to the effect of, I am worthy of an abundant life. Maybe the word prosperous hits your ear different, so you want to use a different word. You can change your wording, okay? So for those of you who just joined us, we're going over some of the tools and tips that we've been talking about this week in order to activate affirmations. So we haven't chosen our affirmation yet today. If you would like to choose the affirmation we do today, drop a number 1 through 10. The first person to drop a number, we will choose that one. We've got 1, 2, 5, 7, and 10 left. So any of those numbers, drop them, and that is the one we will dive into today. The other tool and tip that we were talking about is making yourself feel something in your body as you are thinking about the affirmation and saying it to yourself. So an easy way to do that is make your body feel something and then add the affirmation in. So an easy way to do that is play a song that you really love that makes you feel a lot of stuff in your body, and then add the affirmation in. So as you're dancing around thinking about your affirmation, or dancing around thinking about the song, then you're feeling feeling really good in your body, and then you're going to add the affirmation in, right? So it's like, I release all resistance to attracting money. Let's say that one, that was day one. So you're dancing around to your favorite song, and I release all resistance to attracting money. It like clocks it in your body a little bit differently. Okay. Number 5. Okay. That's the one we are going to do today. So let's just get started. Number 5. I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. Here's it again. I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. I fucking love this affirmation. Now, this affirmation, it's going to be similar to what we talked about I'm in control of my financial destiny, where this one is actually really easy for you to prove true with action you can take today. I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. So before I start diving into that, note what happened in your brain and note what happened in your body. For me, this affirmation is one of the affirmations that feel the most true to me, right? Because I have been working on my money now for so many years, right? And like me being able to dive into my numbers, I do feel clarity and confidence when I work on my money. But before I had clarity and confidence, I had to tell myself I had clarity and confidence while I was taking the action to actually make that true, okay? So for me, that just feels like an inherent truth in my body. I'm like, yep, next, right? Like that's what happens for me. So let's see if we can unlock something different for me than just like true box, put that in the true box. Let's see what happens as we continue to dive in. So I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. What happened in your body, right? Did that feel like a yes in your body? Did that feel like a no? Did you feel resistance? Was there a knot that pulled up? Was there an expansive energy? Who knows? Let's try with the what if principle. What if I handled my finances with clarity and confidence? That's interesting. What if I handled my finances with clarity and confidence? That's going to spark a list for you to journal on. What would it look like for you to handle your finances with clarity and confidence? What are all of the things that you would do daily, weekly, monthly? I mean, I'm going to give you the Not Starving Artist list, which is 1 monthly financial CEO party and checking in on your flex spending credit card or bank account every couple of days to see where you're at with your spending. That's the 2 that I would say would give you clarity and confidence immediately, right? So what are the things that would give you that right away? Let's make that list. So that's the what if principle. Now, let's try changing the phrasing a little bit here. I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. Here's a way into this. If the phrasing, I do this now, I am this thing now, makes you resist it, instead of doing the what if principle, you can try a softer launch into that I am statement, which is I am becoming someone who handles their finances with clarity and confidence. I am excited to handle my finances with clarity and confidence. That's another way that you can change the phrasing of giving yourself something that you actually can believe in. Like, can you get excited about the prospect of handling your finances with clarity and confidence? Can you say, I am taking action to become someone who handles their finances with clarity and confidence? What is a phrase that you actually can believe and get behind right now that is alongside the energy of fully believing that you're someone who handles their finances with clarity and confidence? Okay. So now what I want you to do is, if you feel like that is not true, I'm trying to get comfy on my bed. If that feels like something that's not true, let's get clear on why it doesn't feel true. So making a list, I'm sorry, my mattress, making a list of why do you not feel clarity and confidence? What are the education holes? What are the knowledge gaps that you have? We talked about this, I can't remember what day it was, but when we were talking a little bit about investing, maybe this was an email. I can't remember. It all blends together. But making a list of specifically what it was on my Instagram stories. Someone was saying that their New Year's resolution, their goal for 2025 was to understand investing and to start investing their savings. And their fear was, I'm going to fuck it up. I'm going to do it all wrong and I'm going to lose all my money. That was the fear. So with that fear, there's a lot of education gaps that will just automatically dispel that fear by actually learning how investing works, right? So listing out what are the literal education and knowledge gaps that keep you from feeling clarity and confidence when you manage your finances. Do you not fully understand how banks work, right? I mean, a lot of people have fear around investing, and that's like the thing that's been on their to-do list for ages, or to finally understand the investment account that their work or their parents set up for them. So I know that's a big one, but like, what do you not understand? Do you not understand how credit cards work? Is there some fear there? Is there understanding like how to manage fluctuating income? If your income fluctuates, are there business financial things that you don't fully understand? I remember when I was starting my business, it felt really easy for me to like start my business when I could just like pop on Instagram and just like make a little money, but I was like still under the threshold where I like had to start reporting. But the first year that I was like officially reporting and like a full on business, and especially when I started my LLC, when like legal stuff started coming into play, I had to do this. Where my affirmation that I was wanting to believe was, I am a business owner of full confidence. I know how to run a business, right? I know how to be an entrepreneur, like those sorts of things. Like I know how to coach on money. I know how to manage money, and I know how to be an artist, but like combining all those things and like making it a business, that was something that was a little bit more foreign to me, like specifically the legal stuff, right? So that was something I had to do. And I was like, what are my knowledge gaps? Okay, knowledge gap. What does an LLC actually mean? I see content all the time on S Corp. Like, what does an S Corp actually mean? I was like writing knowledge gaps about taxes. Like there were certain tax laws that started to come into play when I became an LLC and when I started electing to become an S Corp. And then other things around like, what's the paperwork I need? What are the legal protections? Like there were so many knowledge gaps that were fueling my fear, that were making me not believe that I had full clarity and confidence as a business owner. But then I went and I figured out the answers to those things, where I was like, okay, I'm afraid of this, but that's just because I didn't understand X, Y, and Z. And I went and I Googled and I read and I reached out to people and I found the answer, right? Next line item. All right, I'm going to reach out. I'm going to Google. I'm going to research. Found that answer. Made my way through the whole list. So as I was filing my LLC paperwork, right? As I was becoming a full-on business, like my fear started to dissipate, which meant that I could start to believe I have full clarity and confidence, right? So I want you to make a list of the things that are keeping you, like the practical, tactical things that are keeping you from believing that you have full clarity and confidence in your finances. For so many people, it's just a lack of awareness. For so many people, the resistance to believing, I have, again, our affirmation today is, I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. A big thing that gets in the way is I just don't understand what's happening with my money. And that's an organization issue. At the core of it, if you don't understand what's happening with your dollars, it's because it's not organized in a way that makes it easy for you to look at, right? So looking at it, physically pulling up the bank accounts, and then having it organized in a way where it actually makes sense to you, those are your two roadblocks, right? I'm going to give you the first two right now for you to journal on, right? So the two tactical things that you can literally do today to start creating evidence that this is true, I handle my finances with clarity and confidence, is go and do a money audit. So first thing I do with all of my clients, I have a Remarkable tablet where I like do this with them and we screen share, but basically you're going to do a full on like inventory of every bank account you have, every loan you have, every debt you have, every place you have money, every investment account. And you're going to draw like, here, I'll do an example here. You're going to draw like, okay, I have this bank account. And I have, okay, I'm just doing circles. I have this bank account and I have this bank account and this bank account went, oh, how did my pen just start running out of ink right as I'm trying to do a demonstration? This bank account, like my income flows into this bank account, and then sometimes I'll transfer this to savings and this credit card gets pulled out of this thing, right? This is so messy and so much messier than I would do with my clients, but here we are. This is how we're doing it on live. But take an inventory, take stock of all of the bank accounts and money that you have open, and then look at it. Right? And the arrows, I call this your financial ecosystem. Okay. When you think about your financial ecosystem, Think about in a science textbook, when you look at like the rainforest ecosystem of like this plant feeds this thing and this thing eats this thing and like the top of the food chain, bottom of the food chain, but there's a lot of arrows and things going in between each other. Kind of looks like a mess, but it all is like beautifully imperfect in the ecosystem world. That's what your money is going to look like. There's going to be arrows and boxes and circles, right? And depending on how many accounts you have open, how complicated it is, how simple it is, right? It's going to look different for every single person, but that's what I want you to do. So first, take inventory. This is what I do with my clients on the very first call, and the amount of clarity that just this exercise does, because you're going to be like, oh my God, I totally forgot that I had that thing. Or, oh my God, this is why I feel confused because I have like 3 different savings accounts. I have one in Acorns, and then I have this random investment account with Robinhood when everyone was freaking out about it, and I opened it and I have like $400 there, but I don't know what it's for. But then I have my normal savings, but I don't really know exactly what my savings are for, because every time I get my income, I like just funnel a certain percentage here, but I've never pulled money out. And anytime a random expense comes out, I put it on my credit card. So I have this much debt, but I have this much. Like, you'll start to see the confusion in the holes, right? When I do this with my clients, I can tell you exactly what needs to be fixed, right? I'll be like, yep, move this arrow here. Okay, we need to combine this, this, and this. And then it becomes a simple system. Some of you might have 2 bubbles and 1 arrow, or 2 arrows, right? Income comes into checking account. You have a savings account. Money goes into savings. And then you pull money from savings whenever your checking gets low, and vice versa. And that's the entirety of your ecosystem. You might be one of those people as well. So when you're looking at this, now you're going to have clarity on, why do I feel financial confusion? Why do I feel afraid to look at certain things? Like, this is going to tell you that. So this is one way that you could get clarity today. Do that exercise. Create your ecosystem. Get out a big piece of paper, get out your markers, and start doing it. The other thing you can do is I want you to go through 1 month of your credit card statement or your debit card statement, whatever, wherever you do most of your spending. And I just want you to do an audit. Do this, print this out. If you have a printer at home and you can do this, get off of your computer. I think sometimes doing things analog makes it not only more fun, but makes it more real. Like, there's something that can be really daunting about looking at money on a screen. So print out 1 month of your bank statements. And then I want you to go through, like, get some highlighters out, get some markers, get some pens. And I want you to go through every single transaction. And I want you to like say it out loud and what it was for. And like, maybe you do some highlighter colors of like, blue feels really good. Green was an absolute necessity. Yellow is I don't remember. Orange is, oh, I remember that, but I don't like it. Like, you could play with color coding, but all this is doing is you're going to go line by line. And even just this, I have clients who like, they found $100 worth of like subscriptions and random shit that they don't use that they were just able to eliminate. They were like, I literally forgot this was happening. My partner just the other day came in and he had gotten a subscription like 6 months ago to this app. I don't remember what it was called, but it was to help limit screen time on Instagram. But in order to give himself a barrier, he signed up with my email. So I had the login, but because I had the login, the emails, I mean, I wasn't even getting emails about his subscription, but basically he thought he had canceled it, but I guess he didn't. But this subscription charge was like, I don't know, $7, $8 a month. And it was happening for 6 months. And he had done a spending audit before, but he just did another one like at the start of this year. And he was like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I've been paying for this for 6 months, right? And like, there's an app right now that's doing a bunch of ads right now. It's called Rocket Money. I haven't tried Rocket Money. I don't have any feelings or thoughts about Rocket Money because I haven't dove into it right now. But Rocket Money, their big thing is like, we'll show you exactly what you have subscriptions for and we'll cancel them for you right there and whatever. Like, you don't need an app for this. Just like look at 1 month of your bank statements and go and look and see what you've got and circle them and cancel them, right? So that's a benefit of what can happen when you do an audit. But the other thing that this does is it puts you right, like it smacks you in the face with what you're spending money on. And a lot of you are going to avoid that because you don't like what that's going to make you feel, because you know that your spending might not be fully in alignment with what you want and what you desire. It might fully be in alignment with what you want and what you desire, but you have a lot of thoughts about what spending means, and you have some ingrained beliefs that spending is worse than saving, and any dollar you spend means that's a dollar not saved, and so any dollar spent is less good than a dollar saved, right? And we want to eliminate that thought once and for all, because spending is just as much of an important money skill as saving is. They're both equally important. My parents, they just moved into a retirement community recently, this past year. they're not retired yet, but they are moving into retirement years, and they are having to like calibrate their brains to like, we are now going to be spending for the rest of our life. We're not going to be saving. We're not putting money away anymore. We are actively going to be pulling money out. And that's the only money skill, is spending. Like they're not going to be saving. Do you all realize that everything we do in life comes back to spending? Like we save to eventually spend it. We invest to eventually spend it. We want to make more so that we have more to save and invest and spend, and saving and investing always end up in spending. So like the end goal of everything we do is to spend it. So you need to learn how to spend money without guilt, and spend money really well and really intentionally, right? And love how you're spending and hitting press payment anytime you do that. So when we're talking about doing an audit of your bank accounts, this isn't to figure out all the things you can cut back on. That might be a bonus that happens of like, oh, there were all these subscriptions and things I was paying for that I like don't actually care about and I just want to remove. But it's also to get you like feeling, okay, this is important that we talk about. Also, for those of you who have just joined us here, oh, my bookmarker went away. Our affirmation today is, I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. Now, a huge part of this is awareness. To handle your finances with clarity and confidence, you need to have awareness. The thing about awareness, so many people want to jump straight to a plan, a budget, a spreadsheet, an app, a template, a debt payoff plan, right? Like they want to go straight to that. But the thing that they're jumping over is the thing that actually is harder to feel through in your body, which is awareness, right? Which is to look at a month of your spending and say, I like that. I don't like that. Why don't I like that? Why do I like that? What is this overall number? How do I feel about that compared to my income? Even if it fluctuates, like what's your yearly income? And then what's your yearly spending? Do you like those margins? Do you like at the core of it, money math is so fucking simple. It's so simple because it's simple addition and subtraction. It's literally what goes out, what comes in. That's it. And when you set up your money with the money flow method, which is the cash flow system I teach my clients, all it's doing is it's separating your money so that you don't have to do any mental math. You have a separate bank account where all of your money comes into. It's called your landing strip. That's where your income comes in. Then you have a separate bank account for your auto pays, for your bills, for your utilities, for anything that gets automatically sent out. So that's a separate account. And then you have another account, whether this is a separate bank account or a credit card, where it's your flex spending. It's your groceries, it's your gas, it's your entertainment, it's your shopping, it's literally everything else. And then you have a savings account with buckets for like travel, furniture, moving, headshots, accountant, all of those big yearly expenses that come up, that then you'll just move those savings funds into your checking account when you go to pay for them. That's how simple it is. So instead of having to do mental math about your spending and your money, you're letting your bank accounts do the work for you. Look, you're letting your bank accounts do what you want a budget to do, okay? So the simplicity of the math then, when you have that set up, is what's going in and what's going out. That's the simplicity of the math. But that simple of a math equation can have you feeling a lot of things, especially if you don't like the margins, right? And a lot of times the margins that people don't like is the margin is too small, right? What is coming in is too close to what's going out, because that means you have less to save and invest for the future, right? And then you might have a lot of thoughts about that. So like the numbers are neutral. Money is neutral. There is no, whenever I onboard new clients and we do this, where we go through and we like line out all of your bank accounts, all the money that's in them, what's coming in, what's going out, we do all those numbers together. Rightfully so, there's a lot of like, it's like getting financially naked. There's a vulnerability that comes with another human being fully understanding your financial life, because your financial life is a reflection of you, right? Like, not that, let me also be very clear. It's not a reflection of your worth, but it is like a piece of you. It's your life. It's who you are, right? Like there is a vulnerability that comes there. But they're always like, I'm so afraid because I think you're going to judge me, or like I'm so behind or whatever. And I'm like, I have no thoughts. I have no thoughts about your numbers, because numbers are neutral and math equations are math equations. You're the one that's having thoughts about the math and the math equations, which is exactly what I'm here for as the coach, to help you work through, right? To figure out why you're having those certain feelings about this certain math equation. And then if you want a different math equation, great. There's always a different math equation that can get you the numbers that you want. And then how do we get you in that new math equation? Like, it really is as simple as that. The thing that makes it feel complicated is your thoughts and your feelings. Hence why we are doing the motherfucking money affirmation 10-day series, because that's what it always comes down to. Because for those of you who are here, again, our affirmation today is, I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. Where do you not have clarity and where do you not have confidence? Journal on that. So if you don't believe that affirmation, it's because you don't believe you have clarity and you don't believe you have confidence. Why? So clarity is something you can clean up today. You could literally clean that up today. You could pull up your bank statements. You could look at your numbers. You could open up some new bank accounts, ally.com, go get yourself in a new online bank that doesn't charge fees, that you can open super quickly in 5 minutes, move your money around, set up a money flow, right? You could do that today. You could do a money audit today to have clarity. You could run your numbers for your business from the last year. You could pull up all of your P&Ls if you have a business. You could run all that today. You could do that. Pour yourself a glass of wine. Put on some T-Pain in the background. That's always my music of choice. Put on some T-Pain. Put on Tom Misch's Geography album. That's one of my favorite vibey albums. Such a good album to listen to while you're like doing it's a little jazzy. You got your glass of wine. You're pulling up your stuff. Remember to make this shit fun. Like, you don't have to sit at your desk and like pull up a screen. Like I said, print your bank statement off and get some colored pencils and play around with your bank statement. Color code some shit. Right? Money has gotten so virtual. When things become virtual, it goes into a place where like our physical bodies have a hard time feeling it and understanding it. So the more you can make things a little bit more analog, like let's use tech in the virtual stuff to our advantage, but sometimes you need to like make it real. Get your dollars in your hand. And even if you're not going to pull cash out, pull your bank statement out in your hand, hold it. I was doing an audit for one of my clients where what we were doing, like when we were estimating her expenses and setting up her business accounts and her numbers, she kept coming up short month to month. And I was like, okay, so these numbers aren't mathing. Like something is wrong here. So I was like, send me over all of your bank statements from the past 4 months. I want to see your business bank statements and your personal bank statements, because there was just weird math that was happening. And I literally printed out her bank statements month to month to month. And I sat there with my highlighters and I was like, oop, didn't account for that. Didn't account for that. Didn't account for that. Something we discovered was her old accountant, who she's not working with anymore, actually increased her owner's pay without increased her, it was either her owner's pay or how much she was paying in estimated taxes that she didn't account for. So I think maybe actually it was both of them. So what was happening was the numbers that she knew from what they had discussed were the ones she was putting into her like simple math equation. But then what was happening in the bank accounts was like extra thousands of dollars were being taken out. She was like, where is this going? I don't think I'm spending this. Like, what's happening? So we actually went through the bank statements, but I printed them out because I was like, let's get this shit analog, because we had tried to do it virtually. And I was like, we need to get this shit in our hands. And I need to go through with a highlighter and be like, we've accounted for that. We've accounted for that. We have not accounted for that. It's different when you get it in your hands. So when we're talking about money, I want you to start thinking about like when you have full clarity and confidence with your dollars, that means you have a very intimate relationship with your dollars. When you are clear and confident about your money, it means that you understand. Like I could tell you right now what's on every single one of my credit cards. I have a $240 balance on my Amex. I have a $10 balance on one of my Chase cards. I have a $26 balance on my Amazon card. I have a $120 balance on my Target card. Like I can tell you all of these balances. And why? Because I am so intimate with my spending, right? And yes, I have a good memory. Like I also know, like I have a partly photographic memory. So like my brain, it does like catalog things different. But a huge part of why I'm able to remember these things so clearly is because I am so present any single time I spend money. So like I know in my brain this month, because I'm making such intentional spending decisions, I know that I just put in a like $35 Target order yesterday, right? And I could tell you exactly what I got. I know that I went to Target earlier this month and did a huge grocery haul, and that was about $100, little under 100. And then I know, like, I could tell you everything I bought on Amazon this month, right? Because I'm not just like clicking and forgetting about it. I'm not doing it like amidst the chaos of my day, because I have full clarity and confidence around my money. So I choose to spend very intentionally, and I always let things sit. This is another tip I'm going to give you. In order to remember more about what you do with your money, let it sit. Let it sit for a minute. So like the Target order that I just put in yesterday, that had been sitting in my cart for a couple of days because I was like, do I really need that thing this month? Or is that just me wanting to like stock up and hit a cart minimum? Because always be aware of like trying to hit a cart minimum so you get the free shipping, but you don't actually need the things. Or like spending more on Uber Eats to get the 15% discount. Like sit with that for a second. Like, do you actually want the thing? Or is it just the marketing of the sale or the marketing of a hit this cart minimum and then you'll get it earlier, or like you'll get free shipping, whatever. So anyway, I let some things sit in my cart and I like played around and then finally, submitted because I'm not in a rush to buy these things. That's the other thing. Someone who has full clarity and confidence managing their finances is never in a rush. Never in a rush with their money. Never in a rush to move it. Never in a rush okay, so this is why too, I teach the money flow method how I do, and why I want all of you in banks that don't charge fees, because sometimes accidents will happen. Sometimes you will accidentally overdraft. And you know what? You don't have to be panicked or in a rush about it if you're in a bank that doesn't charge you a fucking overdraft fee, right? Like you could literally let that sit for a minute and not panic about it. So like I'm even thinking about, I got wrongfully charged for like an app purchase and I found out about it on Friday, but I'm not gonna panic and do it right now, right? I'm gonna wait until next week, right? I might even wait till my next financial CEO party to go and process that and get the refund and whatever, because I'm not in a rush, because I have full clarity and confidence over my money, because I know I can absorb that like $14 charge or $7 charge or whatever it was, because I know my numbers, because I know it's in my bank accounts. So then when you're thinking about like being in a rush and needing something now, I want you to be out of the energy of needing to like buy something now, need something now. The more buffer time you can give yourself between needing something now. So I'll give you an example. I had a client they had a wedding coming up in the summer, and it's like, okay, cool. So we're going to start planning for the wedding coming up in the summer now. In January. I want you to figure out how much you're going to need to buy for the wedding dress that you need. Thumbs up. That's right. The wedding, like guest dress that you're going to want. Do you need new shoes? There was a flight that needed to be purchased. So instead of like pushing all of this to the last minute when like, oh no, it's panic time. It's go time. We need to buy the flight. I need to go get the dress, whatever. She was able to give herself so much time. So then in February, she found this dress, she happened to be walking through a store, stumbled on a sale rack, found this dress that was so perfect for her. And because she had already been thinking about, oh, I need a new dress to wear to this wedding, she kind of already had her eyes out, right? Green car theory that we talked about on like day 1 or 2. When you start telling your brain what to look for and what's important, your brain will start to calibrate. So she found this incredible dress at a fantastic price that she was able to buy in February because she was already attuned for it. I have so many people who I have seen, like they have a trip coming up literally in 2 weeks and they're like, fuck, I need bathing suits and I need this clothes and I need whatever, which by the way, we could go on a whole rant about vacation buying, getting stuff for the vacation, right? That is mainly like clothes, accessories, etc. for the aesthetics of the pictures and how you want to feel. Maybe we'll do a whole, we're gonna make a note of that. We're gonna do a whole other live and Instagram about that after this 10-day series is over. Maybe I'll do a podcast episode on it. But they're like, oh, I need all these things right now. And so they buy a bunch of shit that they don't actually care about or want or need. Cause like when your brain's in a rush mode, it can't think clearly. Okay? You have less clarity when you're in a rush. So you want to give yourself buffer time. Where can you give yourself space when you're making financial decisions? Okay? So again, for those of you who just joined, a reminder, our affirmation today is I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. So go journal on where your resistance is or what blocks you have to the clarity and to the confidence. And so a lot of this is going to come down to education and capability. So why don't I feel capable, right? What is the evidence I have in my brain that's telling me I'm not capable of handling my finances with clarity and confidence? So journal on that, right? But then go find other evidence of where have I proved to myself that I actually can do this? When was I a good steward of my money? When did I make a really good financial decision? Or where did I make really good decisions that weren't involved with money, but that prove that I make good decisions when I have full education, when I understand what I'm talking about? Great. And then what are the education gaps that I need to fill in order to feel educated so that I can make those good financial decisions? Okay? So that's our affirmation today. Go play with that. I handle my finances with clarity and confidence. Yes, you motherfucking do. Yes, you motherfucking do. The other thing, and I always say this, like a great place to start, if you don't know where to start, listen to my podcast. Just make that your self-study course. Go listen to my podcast. So that it is literally, I could bundle up my podcast and sell it as a course. There is so much information in my podcast episodes. It's called the Not Starving Artist Podcast. Go listen to every episode. There's about cash flow systems and how to set one up. I talk about banks. I talk about high yield savings accounts. There is literally investing 101 crash course with Jeremy Schneider of Personal Finance Club back in November or December. There's an episode on that. There's so many mindset episodes to help you continue to get your mind right around this stuff, but then also all the practical shit. Travel hacking the lazy girl way, like so much information there. So I want you to go listen to those podcasts. Just do one a week, one a day if you want to get crazy. Go give yourself that education and then go take action to prove to yourself that you do have clarity and confidence. Who is the person who has full clarity and confidence with their money? What do they do? What do they do? How do they handle their money? Make a list and then go do those things. It gets to be as simple as that. It really does.
Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.